Hey, what's up, Long Trend? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Hey guys, yeah. So Long is an interesting story. So we're now good friends, but we actually met through the old group of, we were in the same group as RFD and everything like that. And we kind of started the journey together. And I went more of the coach way. And Long actually was willing to learn from me as a friend, as a coach. And because not only was I a coach, but I also learned from other coaches. So Long was willing to, work, Long worked with me when I was just starting out too, when I was a complete newbie. So he's actually seen you know, like gave me feedback as a coach for my whole time as a coach because I've been now coaching for like 5 years now, and he's always been there. He's seen my transformation as a coach and worked with me multiple times. So I always consider him one of my closest friends and also one of my closest clients. So let's go straight into it, man. So what was your confidence like before you kind of got into this whole journey with me? Like how was it as a man before working with me?
I would say before working with you, I definitely was. It was like kind of like a roller coaster. It was never consistent. I feel like moments I feel really confident about myself, then other moments I feel very low about myself. And I was like already super into fitness before, obviously before I met you. So I thought that if I got really jacked and it'll easily help me boost my confidence. And the unfortunate reality is like it only makes you confident for a short period of time. Then when you need to be confident, it doesn't always carry. So
Well, you have natural game. Well, I would say you have natural social skills, right? But I remember you told me stories of like kind of like your quality. I think the biggest issue with you, what I've noticed before I coach you, was your consistency, right? Sometimes you get lucky and get a really attractive girl, but then sometimes you get a we call them like a less attractive person that we both, like not our types, right? So I think consistency
right.
was kind of like your issue, right? Because let's be honest, I think with you, you have supreme confidence. I think that's one thing I'm not gonna lie to anybody watching this. You have supreme confidence, but you weren't consistent. That's what I thought.
Right. Well, I definitely
Yeah.
felt like I did have like this belief in myself, but after I started working with you, what you really helped me with was like direct that energy and that belief into like the right direction and so forth, especially when it
Yeah.
comes with
So
attraction.
exactly. So what I think you and me were interesting is because since I started off and you worked with me when I first very started off, I did more in-person coaching because at the time there's not a lot of online dating, right? So what made you
Mhm.
want to work with me? More in person too, especially.
Well, because what the thing is, there's a lot of different programs out there and different like companies that you can work with. Like there's like I mean RSD was one like the most popular one, but the reason why I made the move and want to work with you is because I saw the results and like just from that experience alone, you being an Asian man definitely was a big selling point. But I'll say the other aspect was the fact that like I felt I just feel like you had like genuine like care, like you wanted to help me. And when I went on these like calls with these other dating coaches, I felt like they really tried to push me really hard to like go on these programs, and I didn't feel like they really were trying to like help me. They're just really just trying to sell me.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. And also, I think I just liked you as a person, right? I think we got along pretty well because you're a funny guy for sure at times too. But here's my next question though. Let's kind of go more into the challenge you face. So I know you're already confident, right? I always thought you were
Mm-hmm.
there's moments when I thought you were too overconfident, which I loved about you. But what were kind of the obstacles you faced um in terms of like your social skills, or I guess we could call it your game?
Well, just going back on what I said earlier, it's like you really helped me direct like my attention on what I needed to do. And from the standpoint of like starting from the interaction and going from the interaction all the way to, a good time with that particular person. so,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah. So one thing about you definitely had more of like a system in place. As for me, I was very
Yeah.
like, impulsive. I was like, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm just gonna go with the flow. And if it
Yeah,
works
yeah,
out,
yeah. Go
awesome.
with the
It
flow.
doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with you, like I really enjoyed the fact that you really like push on me to like have a structure. like, hey, this is what you do from start from A all the way to Z and so forth. So that was definitely
So
one
what
thing that
were
really helped a lot.
yeah, so what were the strategies? I know it's been a while, but I know you personally saw my strategies, like you saw my day routine, even myself in person. What are the specific strategies or tactics that you kind of took away from my own skill that you're using yourself today?
Well, one of the strategy for sure will have to be when it comes with the dating, going on a date aspect, and just to
Hmm.
see from the start, from the beginning of like meeting the my date, and like
Hmm.
knowing like how to coordinate the overall interaction, from like, leading her from the very beginning, and just overall not just like being on the date, but understanding like where I'm at on the date. And it's like just by understanding like the framework of it. Because I feel like with you, like you really think about like the framework of on every date that you're going on, like what kind of girl this is, how
Yeah,
should I go about it when I'm like, getting more intimate with her and so forth.
yeah.
There's so definitely on the dating aspect, on the strategy side of things, it definitely really helped me a lot.
So like what improvements have you seen? Have you been consistently having good times with women or like, has your physical attraction become more attractive? Do you know how to talk better? Like what actual improvements have you seen in your personal dating life?
Oh, for sure. We'll just going back on just on a date in general, because when I go on a date, like I said, I just kind of just go with the flow. I was like, well, if she doesn't like me, then man, that's on her. But the nice thing about what you really help me push on, like what you really push on, is like understanding where you're at with the attraction. Like right now, is she like kind of attracted to you, or is she like, oh, she's really into you? So
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
you like really like walking those through those like certain steps, and like understanding where things are at, it really made me feel
Yeah.
more confident when I'm actually going on dates. Even now, like when I go on a date, like I already know like, all right, this is how I want to go about it. This is the type of girl I'm talking to. So for example, like if she's like a very, conservative type of girl, obviously I can't be too, intimate with her immediately. I gotta be, gotta take it slow, I gotta build the
Yeah.
comfort and thing that's
Calibration.
necessary to make it. Yeah, exactly. Calibration. There you go, calibration. So I'll say one thing about you, bro. It's like you're really good at calibrating. And that was my biggest flaws is like
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
because I'm a naturally like high energy dude. So I kind of get
Uh-huh.
too caught up with like the overall energy of things rather than understanding where she's at.
Yeah. 1 second, brother. I gotta take this message real quick. Sorry about this. It's actually a serious message, so we'll get back to it 1 second. Um, okay. On that note, yeah, perfect. So has this improved? So one thing about, I don't know about you, but dating has actually made me confident in other areas of your life. And I actually think that there's a point when you and me were working together, I was like, yo, you actually got it, right? I saw you consistently going on dates, meeting women that you found attractive, right? And I always said you had the natural initial game, right? Your buying temperature spikes where you make the girl feel good was so good. So has this improved your life in other areas? Like, are you, happier? Has this impacted your relationship with your family? Like, has the dating skills actually helped your life in other areas?
Oh, for sure. I mean, after having the one-on-one coaching with you, and for you to pretty much coach me on the certain things I do on my day-to-day life, I realized that like I need to be more. You help me be more conscious of what I'm doing on a per day basis, even when we went out and you're coaching me when I was like going into certain interactions and so forth. I'll
Yeah,
be like I'll be oblivious to certain aspects of the interaction. I'll forget like, oh, this girl actually her friends right here. I should talk to her friend too. So it made me
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
observant when I'm like, for example, like I do real estate, when I'm in like in a meeting, and when I'm communicating with the team, with my real estate team about like certain goals and certain objectives that we need to reach. I'll get too caught up on like the goal rather than understanding where my teammates are at. So with this, like it really made me more aware of other people rather than just, okay, this is a goal, we got to get it done. Because you really
Yeah.
did help me realize like you got to see where people are at, and see like how can you help them where they're currently at. You know what I mean? As before, I was like
Yeah,
very
yeah.
oblivious to that.
Yeah, like I always say, like you gotta know what the girl wants. It's not what you think she wants, which is
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah, she wants me. I'm the guy. Like she's like, a lot of guys think just because she wants to continue the night and have a wine at your place, they're like, oh yeah, she definitely wants to sleep with me. I'm like, no, she doesn't. Like you still have to see, is she comfortable? Does she trust you enough? Like, does she want to see you again? Does she trust that you want to see her again? Like I always tell her, like it doesn't end, right? The game, the one to make her like you doesn't end, right? I always tell you guys, and I think that's one thing about you working with me that I saw you improve is you became more tactical. Like you're like, okay, I can do this. Why? Like it's like you became more strategical with your stuff.
Hmm.
That's the one thing I noticed. Yeah. So my next question then is, why would you recommend me as a coach? And you can be honest here, bro. We're friends enough where I feel like you can give me honest feedback. But first, would you recommend and why?
Oh, for sure. And the reason why I would recommend you, because I've had like coaching before, and the difference between you and the other coach I've done, I mean, I work with in the past, is that I feel like you really understand, like you really try to understand where the student is struggling.
Yeah.
And and I feel like when I did coaching for with this one, I don't want to say the name, but when I did coaching with this one person, they just kept giving me, okay, these are the tactics, just follow these tactics. I was like, okay, well, I'm following these tactics, but it's things are not working out. And with you,
Yeah.
what you did was like you saw where I was, my Achilles was at, my Achilles heels, or whatever that term is. You saw where my
Yeah,
issues
kids,
were,
yeah.
which was
Yeah,
awesome
yeah,
because
yeah,
you were
yeah.
able to like you were able to identify my problem so I could solve my problem, and that it like significantly made my interaction a lot better. So would I recommend other students working with you? I would say yes, just do it. It's worth it.
Nah, I appreciate, man, all love. So any kind of last words for anybody who's thinking about working with me, and I guess the last question too on top of that is, what do you recommend they like what is something that you wish you have prepared or known before working with me so you could actually, because I'm all about results, right? I think like this dating thing, it should be results oriented, right? Like why work with someone or any coach or anything in life if you don't want results, right? So anything you want to say, any last words to someone who's about to work with me or thinking about working, and what he can do to really get the max results that he wants. So it's a two-part question.
Okay, so to answer your first question, one and I'm not going to answer both in order. I'm just going to answer the first thing that popped in my head. And I would say before you decided to get coaching, through Danny, I would say really think about what you want out of it. Like, what is your goal? And I feel like with myself, like I really should have focused on like a specific, like at least like two or three goals in mind. Like, okay, I really want to get better at, going on dates, or I really want to get better at, having a better interaction while I'm on the date. And,
Mm,
the other one would be like, how do I build, how do I really build comfort in the interaction when I'm on the date? So I also definitely like you gotta really know why, like your why, like what is really important to you. It could be like, if you're looking to get a girlfriend, or you want to, improve your social skills, whatever it is, you just gotta be very specific, because the more specific you are, is better. It helps you as a coach. And I feel like the more that you know what's going on, you're able to
yeah.
tailor the proper program that fits this that person or that student,
Nice. No, I really appreciate it, man. And I know this is more of a call for you to like, review my coaching, but I do want to say this as a client and now a friend. Like, I do want to tell you that you had one of the best potentials I've seen, right? Because you have natural social skills that I can't teach. So it's like people think, you see NBA players, some of these people just have talent, right? And I just hope that from now on you see that, because you have that natural talent. You just needed to like be more specific, more tactical. But you have because I remember like one thing that even me, and I'll admit as a coach, like coach doesn't mean that I don't have my own uh weaknesses and strengths. And I know my weakness was that initial approach. And I remember sometimes
hmm
even as a coach and a client, I would have you approach first and I come in because your approach game was so strong. So I do think keep it up, man. I feel like you have so much potential. And I always tell you this, I always tell you even as a friend, like, don't stop gaming. You know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
have that even yeah, every time I see you, you have that natural game to like we call it hooking the set, get the girl interested in talking to you. You have that, man. You just gotta figure out what to do after that. I think was your biggest things that you gotta work on. So hey man, I really appreciate it. It's always fun to talk with you, bro. So it's been, it's been really cool seeing, how much you've grown, like, our experiences together. So thanks again, brother.
Appreciate it, man.